Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be giving you guys a full barn apartment tour. If you guys are not new to my channel, you are kind of familiar with the space already because I do film a lot of my YouTube videos in the house, around the house, outside in my garden. But I thought it would be nice to do a full in-depth tutorial of how we got this place, why it's cost effective, and what we love about our barndominium apartment. So without further ado, let's get started and let's make our way into our barn apartment home. Welcome to our humble abode. This is the first things that you see when you walk into our barn apartment. Our barn apartment is more open concept just to make everything feel more open and big. But this is our lovely, humble kitchen. We did open shelving. It was cost effective, and we built them ourselves. Kyle's dad helped him build these. But this was most for aesthetic because I really like things to look cute around here. But also it saved us money on not having to buy cabinets. And then the other thing that was really cost effective for our small kitchen was the butcher block countertops. These add a lot of character and also aesthetic to the home without it being insanely expensive. So we got the farmhouse sink from Amazon actually, and it was just as or even more cheaper than a regular style like a sink. So I just went ahead and did a farmhouse sink because, like I said, I wanted things to feel homey and cute, and so that's what we did. Really nothing over here that doesn't already speak for itself. The only thing really is I have my microwave on top of the open shelving. Some people might not like it exposed, but when you have limited space, you kind of just have to use what you have, and so that's what we did over here. And then, like you can see, I just have it decorated. One of the things that you do have to keep in mind if you do build a small barn apartment home is you are going to have limited space. So over here I have
Susan.
This is a Lazy Susan, and so we have our pots and pans stored in here, and then I have my dish soap and cleaning supplies under the sink, and then we have this little slide out for silverware. It does keep you from buying too much excess, so you do have to be more minimalistic minded when you live in a type of house like this because you do have very limited space, especially with storage. And so if you're interested in building a barn apartment living space, I would keep that in mind that you do have to be a little bit more minimalistic when it comes to things like that. So if you're a clutter person, I would not advise building one of these.
What's your favorite part about the kitchen?
Favorite part about the kitchen is standing right here, whether I'm doing the dishes or cooking, and having a window above the sink.
Yeah.
If you are a couple and you can't afford building a huge house, but you can afford doing a barn apartment home under 100K, one thing that really makes it feel homey and makes you more content, I would say, is having a window above the sink. And I know that sounds so silly, but it does make me feel like really home and comfy. But this is my favorite spot in the kitchen. So it's honestly too, like, you're literally in the spot wherever you stand. So, but that's my favorite part about the kitchen, and probably my plant. Me and Kyle have had this plant for as long as we've been married, so over 3 years. And it just trails the kitchen, and so I think it really gives life to the area. So yeah.
What can you say about the wallpaper?
So the wallpaper is also from Amazon, and I actually had this on this wall too. I had it up for like 2.5 months, and I was like, I actually hate it. So at least it's peel and stick, so it's fine. But this will be eventually coming down, but I was wanting to just add a pop of color and fun to my kitchen. And I still like it, but it's not a forever thing. And this is just a this house or barn apartment is not what we're going to be living in forever, so it's okay to take risks and add fun wallpaper. So yeah. All right, and now we are going to flow into our coffee bar area. We have our dining room table here. This wasn't always here, we just added this on this year. But this is also what makes our apartment feel homey, is because we have enough space to host couples, and so that's really nice. You go into this area of the barn apartment and we have our espresso coffee bar. We got a Breville espresso machine last year, and we had it in the kitchen, but because the kitchen has limited space, we were like, how can we make it its own area so it kind of flows together? And so we saw this wall space and we were like, we can use this wall space. It's not in the living room, but it's also not in the kitchen, and it's kind of an in-between. So we did a little arch. I had a Pinterest board and looked all this up on Pinterest. And so we did the arch and then added some open shelving for aesthetic, and this shelf actually fell and we haven't replaced it. So little reality there. But we have our espresso bar, and then this little cabinet is actually from Amazon, and this is where we store our mugs, our coffee beans, everything espresso and coffee, and most of our like cups that aren't throwawayable, whatever. Disposable. Most of our cups that aren't disposable go in this little cabinet. And so this is also another area for storage for our coffee, but also something that makes our home more like us. And we were able to find wall space to be able to make this happen. And so if you are in a small area or you're wanting to build an apartment that's small, just think about, are we really into coffee? Like, what are your hobbies, so that you can utilize the space to really complement your lifestyle.
I just want to say that this little area doesn't really require any floor space, but because we utilized the wall, it really like gave it its own kind of corner.
Yeah.
And so if you're limited on floor space, that's one way that you can really do that. And another thing is, if you like the arch, we can do another video sometime on how we did that, because a lot of people have asked us, how did you make it that precise? So we won't go into that, but if you are interested, let us know and we can spend some more time on it.
All right, now we are going to go into the living room. Like I said, our barn apartment is very open concept, so you're kind of in both places at once. But this is our living room. Flow into the living room because, like I said, it is more open concept in our house, so it's not really hard to see. I don't really have much to explain over here. This is a perfect space for 2 people and a dog, of course. But one thing that makes this area feel big, and most of the areas in our barn apartment feel big, is we have the tall ceilings, and our ceilings are 12 feet tall. And this just makes it feel really open and big in here. And for you, it might not be necessary to have 12-foot ceilings, but maybe like 10-foot or 9-foot, just to make it feel taller and bigger. But it does feel a lot bigger in here because of that detail. So if you're like, I want to build something like this, but I'm afraid that it'll feel too small, raise your height of your ceilings and that will change a lot. I think that what helps making this feel bigger is the windows. We have double windows here. I really wanted extra light coming in. As you can tell, I have windows in my front door and then also the window in the sink. But I just really wanted it to feel very light and airy and open, and that's also one of the reasons why it feels that way. But really nothing to explain over in this space other than this is where we watch TV and commune and fellowship with people, and this area is where Kyle will drink coffee and chat, even though he may not like what the chair looks like. It is very cozy over here. And that's about it. Nothing more to explain. And now we are going to make our way into the bedroom. Okay guys, so this is our bedroom. This is a 12 by 12. This is a queen size bed, and a queen size bed fits perfectly in this type of measurement of bedroom. So if you're wanting to build something like this and you're wondering the measurements, that's the measurements on that. We did add this detail on the back wall, painted it, and then added the shelf on top for extra storage for books and stuff, because Kyle likes to read and I like to read every now and then. So just thinking of extra things that really allow us to store things without it being cluttered and messy. And so that added an extra touch of hominess, but also storage. We have our window looking out into the backyard. Just thought it would be cozy to have a window, because why not?
Also, it's safety reasons. If there's a fire, you can get out of your bedroom.
Safety reasons as well. Really nothing more to explain here. We have our closet with the double doors that still need doorknobs in them, but you know, that's the life of moving into a house. You do things as you go. And then over here we have our mirror. This also makes we have a tall full-length mirror over here that also adds some more openness to the room. It just makes the room feel bigger. But I have this in the corner, and then our nightstands are actually from Amazon. So I got matching ones for us for those, and that's pretty much all.
Mirrors help a room feel bigger. So having two mirrors in here along with a window, it really airs it out.
Yeah. Now we are going to head into the bathroom, so follow me. Welcome to our bathroom / laundry room. So right here we have our vanity and mirror. Everything that is stored in here is our toothpaste, makeup, all that jazz. And so it can be hard sometimes fitting everything in here, but it's fine. We can work with it. But we have this. I think I also got this from Amazon when we first moved into here. And then coming into here, this antique wardrobe actually my mom gave me, and this is where I keep all of our towels, our toiletries, literally everything you can think of for laundry and stuff I keep in here. And then over in this corner we have the laundry hamper and my cleaning supplies in this little corner. Sometimes I do put those in the garage, but sometimes I'll just leave them there. And then in this corner we have our, is it stackable or is it?
Yeah.
Stackable dryer and washer. This really saved us a lot of room. If we would have had another machine right here, it would have made everything like really cramped in here. For two people living in a barn apartment, it's really easy to do laundry with this type of a machine because you aren't doing tons and tons of load, so it can really keep up. And then in this corner we have our toilet. So not much to see there, you know what a toilet looks like. And that's all of our bathroom / laundry room.
If someone enjoyed this video, what can they expect in coming weeks to follow up with it?
So we are going to be doing a 3-video series. This is part 1 of the Barn Apartment Home series, and today's video was basically just a barn apartment tour, giving you guys all the deets on the inside of our home. The next video is going to be how we best utilize the space on the outside. And so we're gonna get to show you guys a little tour of the outside and kind of how we use this space to really make it feel like home. And the last video of this series will be me and my husband sitting down and really just showing you guys how financially it is possible to build a barn apartment home under 100K. And you might think that we were actually insane, but after giving you guys a little breakdown and showing you that it's possible, you will be wanting to build a barn apartment home. So excited to be taking you guys along with me on this series on my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. Comment down below what was your favorite thing about our barn home, what you liked. Comment maybe what you don't like. We're open to criticism. We love it. We love it over here. So just let us know in the comments what you guys think. And if you have any other questions relating to a barn apartment, how we built it, all that jazz, don't hesitate to comment. We will respond and answer your questions as good as we possibly can. Thank you so much for coming along with me today and touring my barn apartment home. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.